day, there is actually no right or wrong decision. Us putting a label on it is what makes it right or wrong. Hey guys, welcome back and thank you so much for joining in here on my new YouTube channel. If this is your first time visiting, this channel is for career women, and here we talk about how to thrive in career and life. In today's video, I'd like to share some tactical tips with you guys on how to think through making a change in your career path or in your job. But before we jump into that, I'd like to first give a shout out to Jody Prince-Lou for suggesting this topic idea in one of my first posts. So thank you to you for the suggestion. 2020 has been a strange year to say the least, but it seems that lockdown has really got a lot of us thinking about whether the current jobs and careers that we're in are really fulfilling us, and really has forced us to confront those feeling of unhappiness and unfulfilledness from our current jobs. So I did a bit of a poll on my social media channels over the last couple of days, and not surprisingly, 85% of those of you who answered said that you're thinking of making a career or job change in the near future. But yet 75% of you feel that you don't have a clear approach for thinking through making a career or job change. And so that is my goal for today, is to share just, some guidance and tactical tips on how to think through making such a change and whether that is actually what you want to be embarking on. I've broken this thought process down into 5 steps that I have found really helpful for thinking through this process. The first step is to determine what it is that is most important to you and what you are looking to get out of your career or your job. I would encourage you to think about a couple of things. So firstly, how much money would you need to be earning from your job to be able to sustain the life that you would like to live? Secondly, you also need to think about, given the phase of life that you are in, what are the things that you would need to solve for in your job? For example, if you're a woman and you're thinking of starting a family in the next year or two, you would definitely want to be thinking about what are the types of policies, what is the type of culture that I would need to make me feel supported and make me feel like I'm working in an environment that supports and enables me to start and have my own family. Then the third thing you need to think about is, what are the things that give you energy? So look at your current job or any of the previous jobs that you've worked and think back to what are the things that you did, the types of activities or the types of opportunities that you got that gave you energy. Also think, just in your day-to-day life, what are the types of activities and things that you do that give you energy? And that will lead you to figuring out a list of things that you would need to prioritize when it comes to defining what it is that you want out of your career or job. The second step is to assess whether your current job or career will allow you to achieve these very things that you have just defined. And in doing this, I would think about, in your current job, in your current company, if you look at your seniors that are within your department, are they doing the types of activities that you would like? Are they earning in the salary brackets that you believe you need in order to sustain the life that you want to live? Are you happy with the culture within your team, and do you feel that this culture will support your needs going forward? Thinking about, the next phase of life, or if you are there. Otherwise, just will they support you in achieving your career objectives, your career goals? And then I would look broader than that to say, if we find that within our current department, there are a couple of things that are missing, then I would look broader than that within the current company that you are in to see, are there other departments perhaps where they are doing types of work that maybe you would be more interested in doing, and or other teams that just seem to have a much better culture where the leadership creates a culture that will foster growth and that is supportive and that you feel you will be able to thrive in. Then you may want to consider moving within your company into a different department. Similarly, once you have looked beyond that, if the answer is that this company, my current team, will not give me what it is that I would like to achieve, then I would look at other companies within the same industry. And so that is within your current career path. Are there perhaps other companies or other teams where you may function better? And if the answer is no, then that may lead you to the clue that a job change is not necessarily going to fulfill you, and that actually what you are after is a career path change. So this exercise leads me to the third step, which is establishing whether what you are actually after is a career or a job change. The fourth step is to do your research. And this is the part where I see most people fall flat, because it's the big unknown that makes you feel so anxious and stops you from actually then following through with making that career jump or making that job change. So what you need to do is equip yourself with the knowledge so that you can make an educated decision, and then you will know what you are getting yourself into. So in this poll that I did on social media, a lot of people said that, what makes them most nervous about changing jobs or changing careers is not knowing whether it's the right decision, not knowing whether the new job will meet their expectations, not knowing whether the new career will really allow them to meet their ultimate career ambitions, or not knowing what is the right job or what is the right company to work for that will really support being able to thrive in your career, be ambitious, while at the same time having a family or starting a family, and being understanding of the demands that may place on you. So we end up just kind of sitting in this limbo space, and sometimes you can be in this limbo space for such a long time. I mean, some people sit in this space for like 5 to 10 years, and it just leads you to feel more frustrated, more unhappy, and more helpless, where it really doesn't have to be that way. So what I encourage you to do is to do your research. And this needs to go beyond the shallow level research that most people do, which is reading what the job description is on paper. That is the shallow base level, research that one can really do, but it's not gonna enable you to answer the real key questions that you're looking to solve. So again, taking the answers to step number 1, which was what are the things that you're looking to solve for, that should inform the types of questions that you need to be answering through your research. So if you're thinking of making a job change or a career change, or a company change, you want to be speaking to people who are already in that position. And I'd encourage you to speak to people that are at different levels within that company if possible. And, you can reach out to someone. If it's someone that you can ask them to maybe put you in touch with someone else within the business who could be a good person for you to speak to. But it's uncomfortable. We all struggle with reaching out to new people because maybe there's that base level of rejection, but what's the worst that can happen? Someone says, sorry, I don't have time, or they agree to do it, but it never ends up happening. That's the worst that can happen, honestly, and then you just move on from there. So the types of questions that you want to be solving for would be things like, what is the culture of this company? Is it a very toxic environment? Is it a positive environment in which, people can thrive? Is it very hierarchical, or is it more of a flat structure? What are the opportunities for travel, if travel is important to you? Do you have opportunity to travel at the entry level where you would come in at, or is it something that you only really get at once you get to the leadership levels within the company? What are the policies that this company has in place? Especially, this is a very important one when it comes to women who want to have families and men who want to have families and want to be more present and participate more in, in the family and raising of those kids. You want to be understanding what are the maternity and paternity policies that are available. Do they pay you for the full time, or are you going to have to go and claim from UIF in the case of South Africa? And if they don't pay you the full amount, is it enough for you to be able to start a family and sustain yourself through that period, especially if you're a single mom? You want to be thinking about or asking questions on, what does the job actually entail? What are the types of activities that you do? What does a typical day look like in this job? What are the types of skills? And this is probably a question that you would want to ask to someone that's a little bit more senior. What are the types of skills and experience that this company or this person, if they were hiring and looking for a candidate, what are the typical skills and experience that they would be looking for from the candidate that they hire? Again, informs your career plan and where you want to be focusing perhaps as a next step if you're not actually at the point of being ready for that job. Of course, you want to understand what is the average pay, what is the pay for the level that you would be coming in at, but also what is that trajectory, and will that be sufficient for your needs? And then you also want to be asking about, what are the opportunities for career progression? I would try to understand, does this company offer training? If I have skills that I identify that I think I need to develop, will they give me the support in order to develop these skills? I will also look at, what does the leadership level look like? Am I seeing a lot of, let's say, like lots of grey hair? Am I seeing maybe, within the context of South Africa, am I seeing white males only? Or am I seeing a leadership team that is perhaps a bit more transformed? Am I seeing people that are younger making it into leadership positions? This one is really key, because as a young person, you want to feel that you will be empowered and that if you put in the work, that you're going to be rewarded. And that brings us to the fifth and last point, which is arguably the most difficult part, which is to just take a leap of faith and make the jump. Now, you would have done all of your research, from steps 1 through to step 4. And hopefully at that point you would feel a lot more informed about the decision that you're about to make, which could make you feel more comfortable and, put you at ease with taking that step. But it needs to feel right in your gut, ultimately. And that's what you always need to be looking to follow. And the change may be a really big one, especially if it's in the case of making a complete career path change, which is what I did, moving from engineering into management consulting, having to start all over again and feel like you have to forget everything that you've learned, and that it would mean that you are throwing away all your previous years worth of experience. And it's really daunting, I know, but I can't think of anything worse than remaining stuck where you are in that place of comfort. And it is comfortable to remain where you are, but it's really uncomfortable, it's really daunting, it's stepping into the unknown, which is what we are all afraid of. And I think that's the most difficult part that ends up keeping us back. So this is where we need to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. We need to get comfortable with taking a leap of faith and moving into the unknown. So a lot of us, feel like, I'm afraid to make this step because I don't know if it's going to be the right decision for me. And it adds all this extra pressure that ends up confusing us. So we just need to remove the pressure, because at the end of the day, there is actually no right or wrong decision. Us putting a label on it is what makes it right or wrong. Yes, there are a number of decisions or options that may be available to you. And all that it is the decision that you end up taking, or the path that you end up taking, just has a different set of outcomes and possibilities for you. But you have to have faith that if you take that step and it ends up not being what you expected it to be, and it doesn't fulfill you again in the way that you want to be fulfilled, then you just have to be comfortable with the fact that you may have to take another step and change direction again. And that's okay. It's okay, because life is a long journey. We are so young, and people are working until the age of, 65, 70. Some people are never stopping. So in the bigger scheme of things, if you spend a year or 2 years in one job and you find out that it's not for you and it wasn't what you thought it would be, it's nothing. It's nothing in the bigger scheme of things. So these are my 5 steps that I recommend for thinking through a career or job change. I hope that you found this useful. Honestly, I could spend another half an hour probably going through each of these steps in more detail, but we don't have enough time for that today. But if there are any of the steps that I've mentioned today that you feel you would love to have more direction and get more detailed information on, I'm happy to create another video to just elaborate more on any one of these. So if that is the case, then please just leave a comment down below. Also, if you have any friends that you know of have said that they're feeling unhappy in their jobs or are considering making a career change, then I'd encourage you to share this video with them, and perhaps it could make their journey a little bit easier. I'd also like to ask you to please remember to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and if you haven't done so already, also please subscribe to my channel, and you'll get immediate notifications whenever a new video comes out. That's it from me today, guys. I will see you guys back here again, same place, same time, in the next 2 weeks. Bye!